Beloved soul, if you have been feeling waves of emotion, restlessness in your spirit, or a sudden shift in your inner world since the most recent new moon in Scorpio, you are not imagining it. Something has awakened in the masculine collective, an ancient primal consciousness rising like the wolf, fierce yet intuitive, powerful yet deeply aware. Perhaps you feel the pressure building inside you, the sense that something monumental is unfolding beneath the surface. You may be longing for answers, craving clarity, or sensing that union energy is moving in ways that defy logic. This is not confusion. This is transition. This is initiation. In today's transmission, we will dive into the depth of this shift with precision and truth. We will explore not only the energetic impact of this new moon, but the way wolf consciousness is reshaping the masculine collective on a soul level. And for those who asked for more insight into the mechanics of the twin flame journey, the inner workings, the unseen threads, the stages of activation, we will begin opening that door again. Slowly, intentionally. You are not just here to learn, you are here to witness a map being drawn as it forms a path for those preparing for physical union in this year of shedding, rebirth, and divine culmination. I walk this path myself, not only experiencing it, but documenting it so you do not have to navigate blindly. By the end of this video, you will not simply understand what is happening, you will feel it. You will walk away with a new framework, a clearer sense of direction, and a deeper trust in your own intuitive knowing. This transmission is not information, it is activation. It will align you with the current rather than leave you fighting the tide. It is my intention that you leave with clarity, with steadiness, and with the courage to step forward into your next chapter. And for those who feel called into deeper personal guidance, I am here walking beside you, ready to support your embodiment and union path one-on-one. Section 1. The Virgo Eclipse, Rebirth into the Wolf. The rare second new moon in Virgo, paired with the solar eclipse on September 21st, was not just another celestial event, but a threshold, a doorway through which the collective masculine consciousness stepped into a new form. Arriving at the precise pivot of the autumn equinox, the eclipse marked the halfway point of the zodiacal wheel, the place where old patterns fall away and the next evolution begins. In this moment, an ancient archetype stirred awake within the masculine, the spirit of the wolf. This was not a metaphor, but a genuine, energetic resurrection. The wolf returned with its primal memory, courage that does not falter under darkness, loyalty that holds through separation, instinct that moves without doubt, devotion that does not abandon its path even when alone. This eclipse was a rebirth, not gentle, but powerful. Those connected to masculine energy may have felt it as a pull in the spine, a sharpening of intuition, a sudden awareness of purpose. Many felt old versions of themselves dissolve like breath in cold air. The mind could no longer survive on logic alone. Instinct demanded to take the lead. The heart began whispering truths the ego could no longer silence. The wolf does not ask permission. It remembers, it returns, it rises. As Virgo, the sign of detail, purification, and refinement, completed its cycle and handed the torch to Libra, the scales of balance began their sacred work. Virgo cleanses the old. Libra restores harmony. This transition activated a recalibration within twin flame dynamics, harmonizing the masculine and feminine poles, not at the surface, but deep in the energetic marrow. For many, this period has brought a quiet preparation for physical union, not through effort, but through natural alignment. The cosmos is orchestrating what the heart has always known. What makes this cycle truly extraordinary is that it did not follow the usual lunar rhythm. Traditionally, a new moon anchors within its season, keeping one sign contained within itself. But this time, the moon spilled forward Virgo, blending into Libra, air flowing into water, water generating fire. Instead of separated gates, the cycle became a braid, continuous, interwoven, unstoppable. Each element fed the next, like breath feeds flame. This was earth, grounding air into clarity, air breathing into water's emotional depth, water transforming into fire's fierce awakening, a chain reaction, a spiral ascension, a merging of opposites long kept apart. This is not merely energetic change, it is activation, a complete rewiring for union. The masculine is no longer asleep, no longer wandering with no direction. The wolf runs with purpose now toward truth, toward destiny, toward the one he recognizes at soul level. And the feminine can feel this shift like a trembling beneath the skin, like electricity at the edges of her intuition. The bond is not forming, it is remembering. The eclipse opened a corridor for rebirth. The wolf stepped through it. What comes next is union, unfolding not someday, but now. Before we continue deeper into this awakening, take a moment with yourself. Breathe. Notice what this eclipse stirred within you, the instincts that sharpened, the courage that rose, the memories that surfaced like a wolf returning home through the night. Did you feel the shift in your body? In your dreams? In the energy between you and your twin flame? Your reflection here matters, because awareness is the first doorway into union. If you're feeling called, share your experience in the comments below. Tell us what changed in you during this Virgo Libra threshold, or simply type, "I feel the wolf awakening," as an affirmation that you are moving with this transformation consciously. Your voice is part of the collective field. Your experience guides others forward. Let us witness this journey together. Number 2. The power of water and fire. The arrival of the Scorpio new moon within Sagittarius season is not merely an astrological moment. It is an energetic convergence, a meeting of elements that are rarely still. Scorpio brings the depth of water, the pull of emotion, the unraveling of the subconscious, while Sagittarius rises with wildfire, expansive, direct, unfiltered truth. These forces are not in opposition. They are not meant to cancel one another out. Instead, they stand like two ancient guardians of transformation, each powerful alone, unstoppable together. Water is the pulse of the divine feminine. It moves like intuition, soft but undeniable, pulling us into our emotional ocean. Water remembers, feels, absorbs, and dissolves. It is the realm of the inner world, the voice that whispers through dreams, sensations, and the hidden corridors of the soul. Scorpio holds this frequency like a mirror, nothing shallow, nothing surface level. Under this moon, the feminine asks us to feel honestly, to let submerged truth rise to the surface, to stop holding our breath in places where our soul needs to exhale. Fire, in contrast, is the breath of the divine masculine. It pushes upward, outward, forward, never hesitant, never timid. Fire burns illusion, cuts through stagnation, and births movement where water once waited. Sagittarius carries this flame in its bow like an arrow of destiny, pointing beyond limitation, beyond fear, beyond self-doubt. This is not reckless fire, this is sovereign fire. The fire that knows where it is going, even if we have not yet seen the destination with our physical eyes. When water and fire meet, we do not get mud, we get steam, force, ascension. This season is the ignition of both poles, the feeling body and the action body, the receptive heart and the forward-moving will. We stand at a moment where divine feminine frequency does not weaken divine masculine, it activates it. Fire does not consume water, it elevates it. Two powers do not cancel, two powers expand. This moon, in the final fire sign of the zodiac, is a closing flame, a last breath of ignition before the wheel turns. Sagittarius delivers clarity, movement, courage, while Scorpio acts as the catalyst, ensuring transformation is not external alone, but internal first. The masculine rises not as dominance, but as direction. The feminine deepens not as surrender, but as remembrance. This is partnership, polarity, alchemy. And woven into this moment is something even more mystical, the entry into the Ophiuchus portal. Often overlooked, often misunderstood, this window is the frequency of ether. If water is emotion and fire is action, ether is what happens when both awaken at once. It is the fifth element, the silent field, where opposites touch, merge, and become something neither could be alone. It is the union between the conscious and unconscious, the seen and the unseen, the human and the soul. Water meeting fire creates rainbow light, and rainbow light is ether. Ether is union. Union is not one or the other, it is all of it. A full spectrum of energy instead of a single strand. Every color, every frequency, every possibility present in one moment, one body, one connection. During this time, you may feel your emotions flare like lightning, sharp, intuitive, undeniable, while your spirit pushes forward with renewed purpose. You are not being torn between feeling and acting. You are being asked to embody both. You are not being pulled apart. You are being woven into something larger than the self you once knew. This is not chaos. This is creation. Water remembers. Fire awakens. Ether unites. If you are feeling the intensity, the surge, the pull, trust it. You are not drowning and you are not burning. You are transforming. You are entering union within yourself. Number 3. The gates of liberation. As we enter the Ophiuchus window unfolding between December 3rd and December 8th, we step into a cosmic passage unlike any other. This is not just a date range. It is an energetic corridor, a gate of purification, a crossroads where human awareness intersects with divine memory. During this portal, a full moon in Gemini ignites the axis of duality, bringing to the surface the ancient tension between two choices, shadow or light, contraction or expansion, familiarity or evolution. We are asked not simply to witness polarity, but to choose consciously which voice we will follow. Gemini, with its twin soul signature, mirrors the split within each of us, the voice of fear and the voice of truth, the ego and the essence, the past we cling to and the future that calls. Sagittarius stands on the opposite end, like a flaming arrow aimed at freedom, the part of us that will leap into destiny even if the path ahead is unknown. Together, these signs form a gateway in the cosmos, a polarity that is not meant to divide us but to liberate us through contrast. This is where myth becomes map. Astrologers of the ancient mystery schools spoke of two celestial gates, the Golden Gate and the Silver Gate. Gemini and Sagittarius stand as guardians on either side. One is entry, one is exit. One is the white hole of rebirth, one is the black hole of dissolution. Through one we incarnate, through the other we transcend. We are crossing between worlds now, no longer anchored to one reality, but moving between timelines like a soul who finally remembers it has wings. Scorpio begins the descent. It pulls us into the depths of what we have avoided, repressed, buried, or feared. It asks us to feel what the mind has long ignored. Through Scorpio, we meet shadow not as punishment, but as truth. Shadow is not the enemy. It is the unopened letter from the soul. Sagittarius initiates liberation. After the descent comes ignition, the fire that transforms, not by force, but by clarity. Sagittarius is the moment we stop kneeling before fear and stand inside our spiritual spine. It is direction, movement, ascension. What Scorpio reveals, Sagittarius releases. What Scorpio breaks open, Sagittarius sets free. And then the journey continues deeper, higher, wider than before. From Sagittarius, we move through the final quadrant of the zodiac, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, the final alchemical corridor of evolution. These signs are not merely seasonal shifts, they are planetary initiations. Capricorn tests structure and integrity under Saturn's eye. Aquarius disrupts, rewires, awakens, guided by Uranus, the liberator. Pisces then dissolves identity into unity, returning us to the ocean of the infinite, with Neptune as the mystic gatekeeper. And beneath them all, subtle yet sovereign, Pluto reshapes the soul at its foundation: death, rebirth, resurrection. This final quadrant is where we gather every fragment we once abandoned. Every fear, every wound, every exiled voice returns home to be loved rather than silenced. This is where shadow becomes teacher instead of enemy, where duality is not fought but understood, where separation does not disappear, it integrates. True liberation does not come from choosing light over shadow. It comes from realizing they were never separate. The Ophiuchus window is where we merge, where identity softens, where old versions of self fall away like autumn leaves making space for spring, where all timelines collapse into one truth: you are whole, even when you feel split. In this passage, we do not run from the darkness. We walk through it, torch in hand, knowing that light was never outside of us. We are the doorway. We are the threshold. We are the gate. Number 4. The Wolf Moon Timeline of Activation. The wolf spirit did not arrive suddenly. It built itself into the collective field step by step, moon by moon, breath by breath. Its awakening began quietly, almost unnoticed by the mind but unmistakable to the soul, on the Pisces blood moon eclipse of September 7th. Pisces is the dreamer, the mystic, the dissolver of ego boundaries, and so the wolf entered first as intuition, as instinct, as the stirring of ancient memory beneath the surface of consciousness. It arrived like a whisper in the night, a pulse in the emotional body, a sensation that something wild and old was awakening inside the masculine. Then came the Virgo solar eclipse, where that instinct once subtle and fluid anchored deeper into the body. Virgo does not dream, Virgo embodies. Here, the wolf moved from ether into earth, from feeling into form. The masculine began to sense a shift, a hunger for truth, a call toward alignment, a growing intolerance for falsity and fragmentation. The wolf was no longer a breeze, it was a heartbeat. The ignition came with fire. On the October full moon, in Aries, the wolf rose. Aries is the warrior, the first spark of existence, the force that moves before language and responds before thought. Here, the masculine felt not only awakening but instinct, drive, direction. The wolf's eyes opened, its breath returned, its spine straightened. This was the first flame of embodiment. And then Scorpio, the descent, the death, the rebirth. On the Scorpio new moon, the wolf was fully embodied into the masculine field, no longer a symbol, a presence, no longer potential power. Scorpio pulls from the underworld, and so the wolf retrieved parts of the masculine long buried: courage, hunger, loyalty, and the ancient memory of soul purpose. This was not awakening, this was arrival. But the journey is not complete. Further activations approach. November 27. Saturn moves direct. A turning of karma. Commitment replaces avoidance. Structure snaps into place. The masculine is no longer circling the lesson, he is walking through it. November 29. Mercury direct plus moon in Pisces, wolf sign. Communication clears, intuition amplifies. The wolf speaks through dream, instinct, synchronicity. North node at 25 degrees, Pisces, the purging of the priesthood. Here the soul reveals the spiritual path and dissolves the lower nature. What was ego-driven falls away. What is destiny-driven emerges. This is the push into purpose. This is the release of fear. December 4 Gemini full moon. Lovers, twins, the magician, the silver gate. This is the moon of duality, meeting unity, the mind reconnecting with soul. North node at 9 degrees Pisces. A jockey spurs his horse. Speed increases, energy accelerates. This is quantum movement, not step, but leap. Where hesitation lived, momentum takes its place. What resisted becomes propulsion. December 19. New moon in Sagittarius. The final moon before the Golden Gate solstice. North node at 12 degrees, Pisces, examination of initiates. Here we face the mirror. Are we ready to step forward? This is the test before the threshold. Not punishment, but preparation. A chapter closes, a chapter opens. Only the aligned will pass through cleanly. January 3, wolf moon in Cancer. The wolf returns not as a rival, but as evolution. North node at 11 degrees, Pisces men, seeking illumination. This is loyalty, integration, self-mastery. The masculine roots into his purpose with heart rather than ego. The wolf is no longer awakening, the wolf is leading. Here, instinct meets devotion. Here, power meets presence. Here, masculine embodiment becomes truth. If you have stayed with me through this timeline, through the wolf's awakening and the unfolding of each lunar gate, then you are not here by accident, your soul is responding. You can feel the movement. You can feel the quickening. Something in you is aligning with this path, or perhaps remembering it. Take a moment now to breathe into your heart and ask yourself gently, where has the wolf been rising in my own life? In my intuition, in my relationships, in my purpose, in my courage? If you are ready, I invite you to share your experience in the comments, even if it is just a single moment. a dream, a feeling, a shift you cannot quite name. And for those who may not have words yet, you may simply type, "The wolf within me awakens." This will anchor your affirmation into the field and allow the activation to deepen through awareness, intention, and community. Section 5. The masculine journey of confrontation and courage. There is a moment in every masculine awakening where something ancient and undeniable begins to stir within him, the wolf. Not the wolf of aggression or chaos, but the wolf of devotion, instinct, loyalty, and truth. This wolf rises not with noise, but with presence, not to dominate, but to protect, not to overpower, but to stand beside the feminine in honor, steadiness, and love that does not waver. When the wolf awakens within the masculine, he begins to remember why he was born, not to run from connection, but to guard it with his life. Yet this path is not simple, nor is it linear. To embody presence, the masculine must turn inward and face a chamber of shadows that many have avoided for lifetimes. Within him exist old wounds, guilt that whispers he has failed, shame that tells him he is not enough, unworthiness inherited from collective conditioning, and the primal fear of being truly seen. He fears that if the feminine looks deeply enough, she might witness all the cracks he has spent years concealing. He fears rejection not because he does not love her, but because he cannot bear the thought of disappointing her. Many masculine hearts tremble at the intensity of the feminine because she sees beyond the surface. She feels what is unspoken. Her wisdom and love illuminate his hidden places, and illumination requires honesty. It requires nakedness of the soul. This is why he hesitates. This is why he runs. He does not run from her, but from the parts of himself he believes are unlovable. But wolf medicine calls him forward, not with force, not with demands, but with a magnetic pull that his soul can no longer ignore. Wolf energy is courage in motion, instinct returning to its source, the hero choosing to step into the fire rather than circle it. He feels the pull not as expectation, but as destiny. Something greater than logic begins to move him. He realizes that the feminine does not seek perfection, she seeks presence. She does not require a flawless man, only a man who shows up, heart uncovered, learning, trembling, but willing. This is the masculine journey, not to return polished and unscarred, but to return real, to stand before the feminine with his truth instead of his armor, to choose connection rather than protection, to choose love instead of avoidance. His courage is not defined by how loudly he roars, but by how deeply he allows himself to feel. And through this process, something beautiful happens. The masculine begins to understand that his vulnerability is not weakness, it is doorway. His presence is the offering. His courage is the bridge. His devotion is the medicine that dissolves separation. He becomes wolf not by conquering fear, but by walking with it. Not by hiding his wounds, but by allowing them to be seen. The feminine does not ask him to be perfect. She does not ask him to arrive fully healed or fully formed. She asks one thing, presence. A heart that leans forward instead of away. A soul that chooses connection instead of withdrawal. A man who does not flee from the fire of intimacy, but steps into it willingly, knowing that union is born not from perfection, but from truth. When he stands, even shaking, he stands as wolf. He stands as one who remembers. Imagine a masculine energy who has loved a feminine soul deeply for years, yet every time he moved toward her, old wounds rose like walls inside him. He would type a message but delete it before hitting send. He would plan to call her, then freeze with the fear of not being enough. He felt the pull, a magnetic gravity in his chest, yet the voice of unworthiness told him she deserved someone stronger, more healed, more certain. But one day, instead of running, he sat with his discomfort. He felt his shaking hands, his racing heart, his fear of exposure, and he chose to show up anyway. He called her not with perfect words, but with honest breath. He didn't promise grand futures. He didn't bring answers, he brought presence. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. He realized that his courage was not measured by how confident he sounded, but by his willingness to stand in truth without armor. That call was not reunion, it was initiation. It was the wolf taking his first step toward union, not by being flawless, but by being real. Section 6. higher self-embodiment, and physical symptoms. As timelines collapse and reality shifts into higher alignment, something profound begins to stir within the body. The higher self, the eternal, limitless aspect of consciousness, does not simply hover above or remain distant. It moves closer, pressing gently yet powerfully into form, attempting to anchor itself inside the physical vessel. But embodiment is not possible in a body weighted with old frequencies. Spirit cannot merge with a field overcrowded by fear, self-doubt, shame, or the belief of unworthiness. Ascension demands space, softness, trust. It asks that the heart expand where it once contracted, and that the mind relinquish control so the soul can lead. The feminine collective is now experiencing this shift more vividly than ever before. Many are finding themselves inhabiting the frequency of their higher self for longer periods of time, not just in meditation or moments of peace, but during daily life, conversations, stillness, movement, even in silence. This is not an idea or a visualization. It is embodiment. It is the divine descending gently into bone, breath, and blood. Yet with this embodiment comes intensity. As more light enters the system, the nervous system stretches, rewrites, recalibrates. The body undergoes a purification to hold more consciousness than it has ever held before. This often appears physically before it appears spiritually. Surges of electrical energy in the spine, sudden bursts of inspiration followed by deep exhaustion, waves of nausea that seem to have no medical cause, headaches that pulse like spiritual rewiring, pressure in the chest where the heart expands beyond its old walls. Throat activation may manifest as tension, dryness, or the sudden need to speak truth that has been suppressed for years. The solar plexus may tighten as identity dissolves. Sexual energy may rise, not as lust, but as life force, returning creative fire awakening in the base of the body, preparing union on a cellular level. These symptoms are not signs of regression, they are initiation. They are the body learning to hold light without breaking. They are the old self melting so the higher self may enter. Heaven is descending into matter, not metaphorically but biologically, restructuring DNA, nervous system, emotional response, perception. Spirit is no longer separate from flesh. Consciousness is choosing incarnation, choosing form, choosing you. Union is no longer just an emotional ideal. It becomes somatic, visceral, cellular. Every pulse of light that enters the body brings union closer. Every moment of surrender deepens embodiment. Every breath taken without fear signals that the soul has space to land. And when this integration completes, when body and spirit hold one frequency rather than two, union ceases to be something you seek. It becomes the state you exist in. We stand together at the edge of something holy, a threshold no longer theoretical, no longer distant or dream-bound, but alive under our feet. The months ahead will not be ordinary. They will initiate us, shape us, strip us down to truth, rebuild us, and reveal what union actually means beyond fantasy, beyond longing, beyond separation. The masculine is no longer sleeping. He rises now as wolf, steady, loyal, instinct-lit, led not by ego but by a deeper memory of devotion. His steps may be slow, but they are sure. His heart may tremble, but it is opening. The feminine no longer walks alone. Timelines are folding into themselves. Past and future are dissolving like mist. The higher self is no longer an idea, it is descending into body, into breath, into moment-to-moment choice. Every inhale draws union closer. Every exhale releases the doubt that once held it away. This is not a distant horizon, it is unfolding now, quietly, cell by cell, spirit into matter, wolf into man, energy into form. We are not waiting for a future that may arrive, we are participating in one that is already here. And if you feel this truth in your bones, if your body knows before your mind catches up, this path is claiming you. If you feel called to deepen, to understand your connection, to anchor through this shift rather than lose yourself in it, I invite you into private sessions through the link below. Walk with me, explore with me, remember with me. Thank you for sharing space with me today, for listening, feeling, breathing, and becoming. You are not just witnessing this transformation, You are part of it. Our future is already in motion. The spiral turns, the wolf walks. We rise not someday, not eventually, but now. Before you go, anchor this transmission with your voice. Leave one clear comment below as your declaration. Type, "I am ready for union." And if this message moved you, nurtured you, or clarified your path, please like this video, share it with someone walking the same road, and explore the next transmission waiting below on your screen. The threshold is here. The gateway is open. We rise together and we meet on the other side.